Well, hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Yorkshire Gamer's monthly Wargames update. And it's been a slow and steady month. There's not much to talk about today, but I suppose it goes to show I'm just human, and I don't put out masses of stuff every single month. It's always a little bit slow this time of year following the Analog Hobbies Winter Paint Challenge. I kind of lose my painting mojo a little bit. But I've just started painting recently over the last couple of days. So there's not much to show you this month, but we've been doing these for over 3 years now. So I thought I'm not going to miss one. I'm going to keep them going. So let's go and have a look at what we've painted. Okay, so there's just a couple of things to have a look at this month, and the first thing is this 1/700 scale Liberty ship from Trumpeter, and you've seen some of these before. This is the third ship of mine in my little convoy build. I'm aiming for quite a few. I'm probably aiming for 20 plus ships for the convoy, so I'm a long way from getting it done, but ticking away at these every now and again and getting one done every month or so, it soon mounts up. So this one has just been done in a plain and grey scheme, and it's named SS Henry Bacon, and that was from a suggestion from a Twitter feed that celebrates American merchant ships during World War II, and they suggested this one as a potential for one of my ships. And SS Henry Bacon was sunk late in the war. It had an American crew, and they were carrying Norwegian refugees, and a number of the American sailors basically gave up their lives so that the Norwegian refugees could get away safely in the lifeboats. So happy to do this in memory of those brave guys. And if you've got any favourite Liberty ships, then pop them in the comments, and I can paint them up, and we can have our little story with every single ship that's involved. I know some people who watch have got relatives who were in the Arctic convoys, so if you do have a ship or something that one of your relatives was on that you'd like me to dedicate to them, I'm more than happy to do so. So we'll just give it a little twirl, Anthea, and there is a picture of SS Henry Bacon on the internet, and it's quite heavily weathered, and I was trying to recreate that for this ship. There's no dazzle camouflage on it at all, so it's a very plain, it's a dual colour. The deck is slightly darker grey, though you probably can't tell too much, especially with the weathering and the various washes, etc. You should be very familiar with these by now, my technique, etc. If you're interested in how I do these, then I did a Build the Bismarck series, and that goes through a full build of a ship, and each one is a very similar technique. The sea especially is something I've been doing for many years. So just flip that up on its side so you can see the roof as well. Lovely detail on these Trumpeter models. They really, I mean, this is just literally 2 colours and a bit of weathering, and it looks the absolute business. So that is SS Henry Bacon, and there's just one more painted thing to look at this month, and it's still in the deep end of the table. So here we have HMS Hotspur, H-class destroyer, strangely, from World War II, British, and this is made from an IBG models kit of HMS Hotspur, and this is the first of the 5 H-class destroyers that I need for my Narvik project. And particularly like this, these IBG models, they have a lot of photo etch. They're a lot of hard work to get done, I've got to say, but when you look at them finished, they are the absolute business. These railings and all the extra detail really does set the ship off. I do still struggle with these, and if you really notice detail, you'll notice there's some missing boarding around the bridge here, and also around these AA pom-poms. Just basically my modelling skills fail, and I break the photo etch before I can get it done. But I've got more on this than I did on my last one, which was the Hunt class destroyer, HMS Middleton. So I have to say, though there are a couple of mistakes on this, I am extremely pleased with the way that this looks. And as I carry on building these, then I'm sure I'll get more skill, and hopefully we'll get all the bits on future models. I think there's only 3 bits of photo etch that I failed on. They're pretty big bits of photo etch, but I did get most of them on. I mean, that there just looks the business. I know I'm blowing smoke up my own trumpet and everything, but I'm so happy with how these ships are coming out. Really, really happy. See, I know what I'm doing with that now. I can do that in my sleep. So concentrating on the ships and getting these to look the absolute business. So I have got 5 more of these to do. One thing I did do with this is I've left the lifeboats off. They were just impossible to get on, and I was breaking, all the railings were coming off. These were breaking, the stays, etc., because these are photo etched, so there's no strength to them whatsoever. So I've left the lifeboats off on this purely to save my own sanity, but really, if that's not too much to complain about, so happy about that. So a couple of ships on the go. No work in progress from last month. That's still at work in progress, as we'll see in a moment, but hopefully I've got the painting bug back again now. I've completed these 2 ships in the last 3 days, so we could be back on a roll. Anyway, let's have a look at work in progress. So, to work in progress, you're getting used to seeing this, and this kind of just shows that sometimes with a model it takes a while, and you kind of just got to chip away at it, and eventually you will get done. So this is Prince Eugen, and I haven't really done a massive amount to it since we last spoke, and a lot of these bits here, as you can see, are not fixed on, because the problem that I've got with this ship is these Baltic stripes here, and having to do them literally by hand. So they're taking ages and ages and ages to get sorted out. But I've done a little bit more work on it. Let's put it on there and try and zoom in a little bit more detail. There we go. So as you can see here, I've done the next level of superstructure, and with that I've done the secondary battery. You can see that each of the turrets has an individual camouflage scheme, and I've done those by hand. They look great from a distance. If you get too close to them, then there's a little bit of wobbly here and there, but it's all done by hand. And then the turrets, I've gone for the scheme with the red top on the turrets. Obviously, it wasn't like this when it fought Hood and Prince of Wales, but I'm just trying to keep that in focus. So really nice, something different, but take a long time with these individual camouflage patterns on each of the turrets. And so I've got not that much more to do now, but the bits that I have got to do are a right royal pain in the backside. So effectively, we've got the funnel in the centre, and this centre Baltic line runs up that one, so that's quite straightforward. But the front and the rear ones run up 3 or 4 different pieces of superstructure. So there's a lot of procrastination going on with this. I probably could get it done in a day if I put my mind to it, but it'll get done eventually. And how do you eat an elephant? One spoonful at a time. So you'll probably see this again next month. As for figure painting, I've pretty much ground to a halt. I haven't done any figures for a month now, and I've just got a very basic start on this. This is the 2 artillery guns, French artillery guns that I need for Mentana, and all I've done with these is built them, primed them, and then while I had the blue out for the ship bases, I've painted the well, I've actually airbrushed these because I actually had the airbrush out. The base coat on these, so these are a long way off, but that's this week's or this month's work in progress that I hope to bring you next month. So let's see if we've spent any money. How much? It's been a pretty cheap month again for me. I do buy quite a lot of Wargames kit each month, and I'm lucky, as I've said before, that I've got some disposable income. But at the moment, I've kind of got a lot of stuff. The Mentana figure project, all the figures are in for that. I've got a massive amount of Italian Wars figures that I haven't painted and are ready to go. I haven't got any new projects in the planning stage, so I'm not buying anything there. So the only thing I'm really picking up at the moment, apart from the odd terrain thing as we saw last month, are model kits. Been on to King kit again, and I've got another U-boat. These are ace because they only like cost £4. But that's the second U-boat I've got, so that will go on to the pile to do. Then I've bought the last two tribal class destroyers that I need for my Narvik game. So there's one there, and then we've got a second one there. So that's Narvik game, getting close to having more stuff done. Then when I buy something, I always buy another Liberty ship just to chuck onto the pile. So I've got 3 done, 3 now in the stash. And then, as I said earlier on, I need 5 H-class destroyers for Narvik, and I've bought another 2. So that's all I've bought this month. Is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ships. So I need another 1 H-class for Narvik, and that's all the British ships bought, not made. And I have got about half of the German ships. I've got some more on order, and I think I need 1 Z21 and 3 Z7s, and that's all the Germans done. So nice cheap month this month, but I'm sure I'll find something to spend stuff on next month. So what are we doing next? We are the scores on the doors. Well, it's time again for scores on the doors, and up everywhere across the board once again. Thank you very much to everyone who listens to, watches, or otherwise engages with Yorkshire Gamer in its various formats. Facebook up to 1941, creeping on to 2000 there, which is lovely. Twitter steady away up to 2768. Insta plodding along. Eventually I'll get to 4,000. YouTube's creeping up now on 2,000. If you don't follow us already, give us a follow. Get us up to 2,000. That'll be lovely. Nowhere near my mate Alex with his 9711 billion trillion thousand million followers, but close. Podcast up to 295, very close to 300. So again, if you haven't already, it's all free. Give us a follow on Podbean, get us up over to 300. That would be lovely. Facebook group is 1435. Lots of new members on there. Lots of people posting stuff, which is fantastic. If you're not already, join the Facebook group, post your stuff. It's a lovely, friendly community. Come on board. And finally, podcast downloads went over 75,000, which was a bit of an achievement, and now on just short of 80,000, 79,676 downloads on both the audio and the video formats. So that's 5,491 downloads last month, which I have to say is pretty bloody good. So thank you once again for all the interest in the podcast. I hope to have a new episode out in a couple of weeks. Just trying to schedule with my guest, get organised with himself and myself. We're both pretty busy, so we're trying to get that sorted out. So that just leads me on to the channel shout out, and then a bit of a review of what's been going on at Yorkshire Gamer. So it's time for the usual channel shout out, and this month it's for Henry Hyde, my good mate Henry, and his YouTube channel. He's just dropped a review of the Partisan show in 2023. He does have another channel, I think, for battle games, but this one's only got 600 odd subscribers, so get out there and get subscribed to Henry, and while you're out there, subscribe to my channel as well. On my podcast, episode 41 was with Nick Schofield. We talked about Victorian Crusaders, the Irish and British volunteers for the Papal States armies in the 1860s. Very different episode this, with a historian talking about history rather than wargaming. Fantastic episode, really enjoyed it. Nick is a great, engaging guy, so if you haven't already, please give it a listen. After that, I spoke to hobby legend George Nafziger, and George, if you don't know, is a prolific author on the Napoleonic Wars especially, and World War II. Amazing detail in his orders of battle, and a very, very knowledgeable guy. Into his mid-70s now, he's still bright as a button, and we had a lovely chat, covered loads and loads of topics, so once again, give that a listen if you've not seen it already. The channel, I did a pretty popular video recently of unboxing the Perry Miniatures Franco-Prussian War French infantry box set, the plastics. You know, watching this, that I've been waiting for these for a long, long time, so I grabbed 3 boxes of these at Salute, rushed in through the door and picked these up along with the metal command figure that came with the 3 boxes, and I'm very impressed. So give that a watch if you've not done already. And finally, just to mention to my favourite country in the world, Finland. Don't know why, but my podcast is amazingly popular there, and it's regularly number 1 or number 2 in the games chart. So thank you, Finland. We love you. There's another month done and gone, and you all know regular followers that I follow Bradford City, British Football Club, and once again we've failed to get out of the bottom league or bottom professional league in the UK. We failed in the playoff semi-final, which was a massive shame, and that reminded me of these models I did a few years ago. And it was for the Analog Hobbies Winter Paint Challenge, and it was kind of, I had these figures for a game called Malifaux, which I do quite enjoy. It's a way out of my comfort zone, but me and my lad have played it a few times and quite enjoyed it. And I had these tortured guys, and I just thought, yeah, that reminds me of supporting Bradford City. So this is my Bradford City Torture Suite, a study on following lower league UK football clubs, and if it was an art project, I'd make millions, but there we go, we won't. So that's another month done and dusted. Thanks once again for watching. I'll be back next month with another monthly update, podcasts, everything that you would expect from Yorkshire Gamer. But until then, Sithee.